scene you are seeing in recent times has been long time coming. If you recall, in this same Niger Delta, military men were being killed, in 2005, 2006, 2007, during Obasanjo's time. You remember the OD episode? And when Yar'Adua also came, he was very firm and wanted to stop what was going on. We moving into Delta that time, and it was discovered that most of the things that were happening was mostly political. People that wanted to be governors, senators were using armed boys to, cause trepidation and fear to their opponents. And after the election, they are often abandoned. And when we went into Delta, then we discovered that most of the groups, the renegade groups, were affiliated to one politician or the other. And the president called them to order, and at the end of the day, some of them stopped what they were doing, but majority of them refused. On the air, I would like to mention some names that are still in the corridor of power. Alamese is gone, so it's one of them. And when the killing of soldiers was consistent and continuous, in 2007, Yar'Adua called all the military intelligence agencies together and actually give them the order to put this into an end. So he called the DIA, the NIA, the DSS, Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Staff to him then. And this thing was stopped within 1 year of his giving us that order. It's very disheartening for me in particular that this is happening again. Because the amount of money the federal government spent then, the amount of men and materials that we lost, to put this to the point of this amnesty program that you're all talking about today, is very, very, very painful to see that all those efforts, during Yar'Adua's time has come to naught. The politicians have started again. Whatever you are seeing in Delta, I have the DNA structure of Delta in my hand. Whatever you see going on now is political. What they're trying to do is to warm up for 2007. And at the end of the day, they're going to make the federal government to fight on two fronts. If you open the flank in Niger Delta now with what we're having in the north, the central government is going to collapse, basically. We noticed that the kinetic approach, was not working. We were losing men to Tompolo, Sogboma, George, Ateke, Tom, Asarido, Kubo. We were losing men to them all the time. Camp 5 was so difficult to go. And the DSS, that was tasked with that job then, could not perform because they relied just on kinetic efforts. And I remember when they went to the burial of one of the militant leaders, I don't want to start mentioning names now, with a view to arresting him. They went with 80 scouts. They called those guys scouts, to arrest him. When they got there, they met with about 500 fighters, that were protecting this guy. And they basically capitulated, So what we did was to apply soft intelligence, that's electronic intelligence. We use also geospatial intelligence locators to ensure we know where some of the key figures were. And we were able to gather people like Ateke Tom, Sogboma George, and so on. Even Asarido Kubo, we were invited to Abuja and we spoke to them. And when we also saw that they were also handicapped, because they have leaders and politicians, we went after the top brass among them. And once we took him out from Angola, everything collapsed. The amnesty program was something, as I tell people sometimes, that I designed personally, and we just pick it up from East Timor, we saw what they did, and we just basically copy. It's not anything big. But what I've discovered is that it's not being implemented, it's being corrupted completely. I mean, that's not what we planned. And the idea of amnesty, even though it came from the Defense Intelligence Agency, but it was guided by Yar'Adua himself. We had our options, option A, 2, 3, and Yar'Adua actually didn't want bloodshed. That was why everybody's enjoying what is amnesty, because we have the capacity at a time. When they turned to DIA to focus on the issue, we actually got the capacity to take people out, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. When we had the option of taking somebody out in South Africa, Jared actually called us to order that he doesn't want bloodshed. It's better for us to take the people alive and get further intelligence. And actually, the idea of amnesty was reinforced by Jared's option. Otherwise, it was easy for us to just take people out anywhere they are. And the issue of military compliance, of course, it has always been there. I will not defend military on that. Even right now, military gets involved in voluntary activities. So that's not an issue. I mean, every egg, there will be one bad person there. But military has always been complicit.
Do you think that also hit up the tension as regards these current incidents with the factionalization and the splinter groups, of the cells?
Yeah. As I mentioned, let's say arrogantly, that I have the DNA of Delta. Whatever is going on in Bematuru and some of this area, I know. One, because I've not left Delta since I left the military. Fortunately, also, I was a senior lecturer of intelligence and security studies in Novena University for 4 years. So I basically trained all these militants, some of them that you are seeing.
That's in Kwale?
Is in Amai, but the school is actually based in Kwale. So I was there for 4 years, training all of them because they came to amnesty program. So I still have them, I know them, they talk to me. And I know exactly what is going on there now. That's why I try to look at the big picture and say it is more political than economy. I want to risk something by telling you the involvement somehow of Tantita. The federal government, they're always making a mistake of trying to appease the militants or terrorists and so on. The guy that is being looked for right now, they should investigate. He has Tantita protection.
Who is that?
I don't want to mention his name. So,
but Tantita is the one fighting them, and Tantita has been doing a good job.
It's very complex. That guy himself was given part of the contract. Tantita project. So he also has the capacity provided by Tantita for him to actually protect. But when something went wrong somewhere and he felt aggrieved, he went there and did some of the things he did. But not alone. But this is not where we should start. These are intelligence.
Some people want to back it up and say, is there proof for all of this?
You want me to go to that place and take pictures?
One major thing that people talk about is failure of intelligence. And you have background, in that area. Every time, even the military says, oh, people should assist them with intelligence. Why is the intelligence always failing? Is it something with the way our security system is designed? Some people have said technology. We need to deploy technology. Is it a new concept that people are just talking about technology, when in other parts of the world we're so advanced? And do you think state police can help solve the problem? Because the state governors say, well, maybe if they control the security in their states through the instrumentality of state police, maybe there will be an improvement. So I go back to my original question about the way forward.
Yeah, but you've asked 3 questions in one, and I was following. The intelligence failure is one of them.
Yes.
What people don't understand about intelligence is that the practitioners themselves don't have problem, because intelligence circle is basic. It's like economic 101. The direction up to when you disseminate, they're basic process. It's like mathematics, basically. The point is that once you disseminate to the director, whoever directs that intelligent process, once you disseminate, your job is done. It is always politics. If I can tell you many processes that we have tried to do in the past that the politicians will just kill it. Once you finish from DHQ, the defense court, and you pass it to them, there's nothing you can do after that. There's nothing you can do after that. We have had cases where we were supposed to go and pick somebody up in Brazil. Once that government left, the next government decided that no, we should kill it. So it's not that we fail most of the time. It's just because the political class, first of all, they are not as educated as they should. most of them are not worthy of those offices because they can't even interpret technical data that you present to them. They can't even, they don't even have time. So I think we have a problem with the political class, not with intelligence failure. There are times also we provide intelligence, actionable intelligence, and they will tell us to stand down. You can't do anything. And something will happen later, and it becomes so disastrous and injurious to the nation. An intelligence officer will not come up and say, oh, but we told them and they didn't do it. We just keep quiet and watch them. The intelligence failure and processes are something that has to do with political class, not the practitioners. If you go to DIA, go to DMI, go to DNI and Air Force, you will see a lot of information that will help in what we are trying to discuss, but they're not going to do it. The way forward, I think we should look at the politicians in the Delta. They're about to start again, as they did in 2007, 2006. And this is to provoke the army or the military to make mistakes. And once they make mistakes, then it's going to inflame that zone to the point that, as I said earlier, the federal government may have to fight on two fronts, and that's not good for them. They shouldn't look at what happened recently. They should try to project and say, okay, let us quickly call those politicians to order now. And if I come next time, I may start mentioning their names, because they are listening to me. They are trying to cause another problem and destroy all the effort of Yar'Adua in bringing amnesty to that area. Another way forward is that they should try to look at NDDC. NDDC. Because that's one of the things we promoted, that's the recommendation we made. A lot of money has gone to NDDC. They should do a forensic investigation of NDDC, because my friend in Delta told me that most of the money sent to that zone, that they are not seeing it. Corruption in NDDC and Ministry of Niger Delta, and some of the agencies of government that are supposed to reduce the tension, hunger, and deprivation in that area. Everything has been done by the federal government, but the people that are implementing it are corrupt to the point that it is no longer efficient. And that's why that thing is coming up again. People are feeling the same way they were feeling in 2006, in 2004, where you are seeing the likes of Sobuma George. We have gotten to that point again because nobody is actually checking the NDDC. How are they spending the money? It's normal when you look at what happened in Gaza, Israeli-Gaza war. When you hit military guys the way this guy did, nothing's going to, if I'm in the system, nothing's going to stop me from overrunning that place until we get whoever did it. And anybody that is hiding him, we may be ready to take the person out. Because by now, I expect the community to have actually brought him out. We know his name, we know everything. And if they say, oh, they're under siege, there's a lot of emotion. They're under siege. Oh, why not bring him out? You know him. You know where he stays. When they went to destroy his house, you knew where he ran to. Why not bring him out? So if you are complacent, or if you compromise security by hiding a criminal gang, then you get what you get. I don't want us to be emotional about it, that maybe military did well. It's like if Ruben now, if you go under knife and a doctor is supposed to conduct a surgical operation on you, and then your wife jump into the theater and shouting that the blood is too much, is trying to control what the doctor's doing. People should allow military to do their job. They are highly trained, they are highly educated, they are not as illiterate as you think them. I had my PhD before as a captain, Navy captain. And I have a lot of colleagues that have PhD. Most of them, they went to go.
Except that, Commodore, the military, too, in a democracy, they are answerable to the rule of law.
The rule of law, yeah.
They cannot take the law into their hands.
We know about the rule of law more than you ever the Geneva. Go to National Defense College and go and audit their programs. Human rights. My PhD paper was on human rights. Nigeria, you just Google my name, you see it on the map. We know about human rights, we know about the Geneva Convention, we know about the rules of engagement. We are trained in all this. And we are getting better at it. Our school, our institution. I was commandant of Defense Intelligence College, and I used to train journalists. We are opening up. We are not as crude as you think. We should allow the doctor to remove the cancer in about his hand or whatever.
I reject it.
They should not go and be disturbing the doctor. You should not do this. Allow the military to do their job.
A couple of pushback to that will be, we all saw what happened in OD, but the state later down the line was forced to pay compensation because the court ruled against them. So do we want that to continue at the expense of a community? Those people too have rights, and you cannot punish everybody when everybody's suffering. I mean, today we talk about the imbalance as regards Gaza, where they are going in there in the name of fighting Hamas, but also killing Palestinians and destroying them, and going to places like the West Bank. So that's another argument.
I agree with you 100% that if a military operation, if the casualty or the collateral damage is beyond certain, let's say 10%, of course you have your date in the court. There are court martials, there are military processes that take care of that. If I go for an operation and I lose even my own men more than the required number that is gazetted, I will have my day in court. So if any military man goes to anywhere and maybe he was overbearing, then after there'll be investigation and you'll be tried.
In all of this, you're talking about politicians.